Thank you for joining the Existence Annual Event 2024. This is the part one. We will have series of webinar like this.
Makes a concentrated effort among farmers, academia, industry experts, agri-professionals, channel partners, consumers and communities to cater to the competencies required to address the challenges and deliver appropriate solutions in the food value chain for a sustainable future. So come join us and let's learn together for a sustainable future.
Existence is established on 21st December 2021, and it is a digital ecosystem, knowledge ecosystem that brings all the stakeholders together in the agri and food value chain ecosystem to address the interlinked challenges of skill and sustainability gaps that is existing in the ecosystem and to become future ready. Existence is led by a young, enthusiastic, and energetic mind, that is me, Dr. Vijayshri, and also by a highly intellectual and experienced gentleman who is an institution by himself, Mr. Ram Udholkar, who is the co-founder of Agzistence. We are also thankful to the agribusinesses who believed in us and joined hands with Agzistence to make the ecosystem future ready. Not only that, we have also accepted by many other young and experienced agri professionals from various agri businesses and educational institutes across the country. We have our master classes, and these are the institutes and the agri businesses who have joined in various master classes of Agzistence. Taking the event ahead, we have with us two phenomenal leaders of agribusiness industries with number of years of experiences. Ms Poonam Poonia, Marketing Director, South Asia at Corteva Agriscience, and Mr Manoj Varshney, who is MD and CEO at IFFCO-MC Crop Science. We are humbled to have your presence, and my heartfelt thanks to both of you, Mr Manoj and Ms Poonam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vijayshri.
So, I'm sure many of you who have joined this event might be thinking that why this event, right? Why is it is important to discuss the future of jobs, industry, and education now? So, to answer your curiosity, to give you this graph or this picture, which is from the Boston Consult, which is from a report, which we got it from this report has been prepared by Boston Consulting Group, the network, and the Stepstone Group together. And the name of the report is How Work Preferences Are Shifting in the Age of Gen AI, Artificial Intelligence. So what we have found in this picture that between 2014 and 2023, job security has become the top priority, rising from the 7th place in 2014 to first in 2023, driven by concerns over economic stability and technological disruptions like artificial intelligence. Also, good work-life balance has consistently been a key concern, maintaining a high rank. At the same time, financial compensation has grown in importance, moving from 8th to 3rd place, reflecting the need for financial stability. Meanwhile, factors like appreciation for work and good relationships with colleagues, once highly valued, have declined as job security and financial rewards take precedence. The growing emphasis on, not only that, to make it a point here, that the growing emphasis on learning and career development highlights the workforce increasing focus on continuous skill development amid rapid technological changes. So in this context, the concept of human-centric productivity has increasingly vital. So what is human-centric productivity? It is nothing but it is an approach that organizations adopt where employees' well-being, growth, and development lies at the heart of the organizational strategies. Not only that, organization also recognizes that long-term success is driven by the people within the organization. So, so before we discuss the future of jobs, education, and industry, let's take a moment to draw inspiration from a recent cinematic masterpiece. I'm sure many of you must have seen Kalki, starring legendary Amitabh Bachchan. So Kalki is not just a character, it is a force of change, a symbol of hope, and a beacon of wisdom guiding society through tumultuous times. Just like Kalki, who enters the scene to bring about much needed transformation, this event, existence event today, is all about embracing change and preparing for the future, whether it's through adapting to new technologies, reskilling our workforce, or reimagining education. We are here to lead the way forward. So let's channel a bit of that Kalki spirit today as we explore how we can transform the future of our ecosystem for the better. Let's get started. So I now invite Mr. Ram Udholkar, Existence co-founder, to set the tone for this event. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining. As was explained, this is first of a series of webinars that Agzistence has planned to bring it to the participants and having experts from the agri-food value chain industry to share their thoughts with all of you. I think the focus of Agzistence, as Dr. Bijayashree mentioned, is to how can we be future ready? And especially important in today's context when changes are happening so rapidly. And how do we keep pace with these changes? And how do we remain and become more relevant? Despite all the skills that we have, we still have to, make sure that we are future ready from time to time. So in this context, we have two expert panelists from the industry, ag crop protection industry, ag fertilizer and nutrition industry, as Manoj represents. Poonam is from Corteva, which is a well-established global organization in India, and Manoj represents IFFCO, which is a very large organization, has substantial impact across farmer groups throughout the country. So very happy to have you both, and thank you both of you for agreeing to come on the platform and share your thoughts. And to participants who have joined, most welcome. So the topic or the theme for today's webinar is a human-centric approach to productivity. Now, when you hear about it, first thought comes is it's not new, right? I think organizations, those who have become successful, the core philosophy has been how to really keep the human capital or people talent, making the real contributions. Because at the end of the day, people are the force behind the success of any organization on a longer term basis. So at the beginning itself, therefore, very quickly, I'll ask our panelists, each one of them to share quickly in a minute, what's your thought about this, the theme of this webinar itself, before we get into more specific discussion. First, I would invite comments from Poonam.
Thank you, Mr. Ram, and thank you, Dr. Bijayashree. I think it's a great platform to discuss, and the topic specifically is quite interesting because human centricity. I mean, as you rightly mentioned, people are core for any organization, and if you take care of people, the organization will certainly grow. So human centricity goes beyond the structural changes and also focus on the culture of organization, right? So it depends on the leaders and at the entire organization how well they want to invest in that and build the culture for organization. And the idea of, and nowadays, if you really read a lot about it, there is a human centric workplace concept is there in a lot of IT organizations, etc. But agribusiness also, I think COVID when everybody started working from home and a lot of flexibility was there, right? I think this human centric approach or the modules or the models are very much there in agri space as well. So it is not only just the sign of progressiveness of the employer or an organization, but it also provides a lot of tangible benefits. And I was reading a research where they say that the employer or organization which work on these human centric work models are 4 times more likely to be high performing. So quite an important and interesting subject, I would say.
Thank you, Poonam. And quickly, Manoj, your sort of reaction and thought about this theme.
Yeah, I think thank you very much for the opportunity for share my thoughts. And I think the topic is very, very interesting. And what I like about this topic is people have been talking about both the things together and then how to make it coexist, right? So that's the biggest leadership challenge. So you want to be productive, but you do not want to remove the focus from the people. So I think, and in this time, it has become very, very important how to remain people centric as well as productive. So I think very, very important and interesting in my opinion.
Thank you, Manoj. With that, I think I'll go with my first question to Poonam. Now, in today's context in any company for that matter, and so also in our industry, which is agri and food value chain, as we call, organizations are increasingly focused on bringing the best solutions for the benefit of consumers, in our case farmers, but otherwise consumers in different industries. While doing so, I think they have to make sure that they're doing it in a most sustainable way, and they're also delivering results for the shareholders on a sustainable basis. At the core of it all will be productivity improvements. In cruder terms, how do we get more for less, which will help organizations to then reinvest. And in today, there's so much technology that is coming in play, organizations who adopt. But how do we, in the center of all these things, ensure that we are further strengthening human-centric approaches, processes, and if they excel, the companies excel, despite having, in addition to having good, new technology being adopted. So I just, for the benefit of our participants, if you can share your thoughts. Looking forward, how do we, manage this situation in organizations and keep the focus on human talent and their productivity and their well-being?
Thank you, Dr. Mr. Ram. I think it's again a very important aspect, and not only, as you rightly mentioned, not only for agribusiness, but I think the whole industry with new technology disruption. And as Mr. Manoj mentioned, being productive and also taking care of employees is pretty critical. And whatever the industry is, I think people are at core for any organization. If they are motivated, they are empowered, and the company is following human centric approach, I think the organization will always excel. So I would say a lot of focus. If I really want to give 2 3 specific pointers, I would say a lot of focus on employee empowerment and autonomy to take decisions. They are empowered and they are engaged at the same time, which really lead to better results, really lead to innovation in the organization when they are heard of, and it also creates the culture of owner's mindset, right? They really treat the organization or their particular portfolio or the business they are handling at their own business. Very important. At the same time, companies should also focus on the skill development, and where Agzistence, as Dr. Bijashri was saying, also on skill development is very important. While I, as a leader, work with my team, I work on individuals developmental plan, what are those areas where they need a bit of training and development programs we identify, and how do we make sure that they are engaged and contributing to the business. So that's the most critical pillar, I would say. And a lot is happening in today's world, a lot of I think as you rightly said, the how do we extract more from less, and a lot of dynamic competitive environment which is changing. So what best, people are really stressed, and the organization want a more from people. So I think health and well-being programs also plays a critical role. Health is wealth, we should not really ignore that area. And I can proudly say, being in Corteva and being in leadership position, we have just started, is just giving an example, we have started one of the fitness and health program of 1 month, where entire organization is participating in that. We are daily tracking which team has done how many steps, how do we focus on their health, mental health supports, etc. Is just not in the paper, but some organization which are really doing it. And how do we create that safe and working in safe working environment specifically for women, and other employees, is pretty critical. And it is not just set, but the culture, how do we build the culture, and how the organization is taking it forward. So which I can very much see in Corteva. Other is, in today's fast forward world, I would say the flexible working environment, working culture. I think there are very few who are still following more in IT, but in agriculture, Corteva is still in that frame where we have flexible work arrangement. It helps women employees specifically, where they have to manage multiple stakeholders, some at family front and organization. Maybe 3 days of working from home really strengthens that. Inclusive and diverse work culture where everybody is heard of. You focus on those sort of environment or culture where employees feeling valued and heard. And a lot of focus in companies like Corteva, where we focus on diversity. I can say a company where a lot of female employees are there, not only at every level, at a field level, the farmer facing activities, sales organization, demand generation organization, and they still remain in the organization and grow. So that only happens when there is a safe working environment, and they feel quite motivated and engaged. So that's pretty important. Other one is how employees are completely aligned with the goals and business objectives, through various town halls and different medium. There are certain employees who work in a function like supply chain, or maybe I would say a commercial excellence organization or a regulatory function. How do you engage everybody on what is the organization goal? And it is clear vision, and the goal of company and long term vision is important. Continuous feedbacks, how do you work with your employees after your learning and training? How do you give them the right feedback which will give them opportunity to grow, etc. And technological intervention, some work in agriculture also, it's quite repetitive. How do you bring technology intervention, and so that your employees can focus on a creative work? So I think all this put together will make a team, will make an environment, will make a culture where employees are really engaged, motivated, well taken care of. And it starts at every level, at leadership level. I would like to foster such environment and the culture, and down to the level, if every area, maybe state, commercial organization, if they follow the similar thing, then you build a culture. So I think these are quite critical elements.
Thank you so much, Poonam. As you have heard, you have shared a number of things that are essential to remain focused on, our human talent, because at the center of it all is, we have to continuously, innovate bring in new practices, focused on making our talent, deliver the best. And while doing that, really enjoy the workplace and contribute to the organization's goals. There's nothing like inclusive culture with so much diversity. That's very important area. Now, there are a lot of rapid changes are happening with technology coming in, the way businesses are done. There's so much of work from home, new thing that has come into place. But there is no running away from the simple fact around people. The organizations have to, find ways, in renewed ways, not do the same thing which we have been doing because the world is changing. Today's requirements are different than what they were yesterday. You can't win tomorrow's war with yesterday's, understanding of things. So thank you very much. That was very, very useful. And with that, I'll go to our second panelist, Manoj. And the question too is on similar lines. But let's say we just saw from the data which Dr. Bijayashree shared, job security is suddenly has come up as a top concern among various sections of job seekers and employees. And in India, for example, we are doing well. One of the fastest growing economies, rapidly developing. So therefore, there should be very little lesser worry about this because as your economy grows, the scope for jobs is bound to improve and actually accelerate. So I see it as a good time for younger generation who are just starting their careers now, because next 20 years belong to India. However, having said that, the worry to some extent is driven by what they hear about technology, AI, and all these things will replace jobs or whatever it is. But what are your thoughts, and specifically, what would be your advice to youngsters or employees in the company? How do they make themselves up to speed with a lot of things, even as they work, so that this should not play on their minds that jobs will be redundant or their skill set will be redundant. And how do we integrate this? Thanks, Manoj.
Thank you, sir. And just technology, what kind of change? I will share my own opinion about it. I think 1980s when computers came in, the similar kind of fear I was told, right? And people had it, oh, computer will take a lot of jobs. But let's look at in the 40 years, what has computers created for the whole world? And so many jobs and opportunities got created after computers came in. 2000s mobile came in and then people said, oh, this is going to change something, and then that mobility came in and then this has changed in even the way organizations are doing. All organizations are shifting to mobile technologies, right? The similar kind of fear has been created around AI or the new technologies, but in my opinion there is lesser to fear and more to see that as an opportunity, in my opinion. Now, as far as what AI is going to create or what AI is going to impact, I think one thing which I see is from an organizational perspective and as well as from the employee or future employee perspective, I think the most important thing required at this point of time is leadership intent, right? So that thought leadership in the organization, that these are the changes going to happen, be able to visualize and create structures. So in my opinion, in organizations, if they are taking certain bold decision in terms of let's not be penny wise pound foolish, let's be thinking of that we will invest something, create some different kind of roles, even if those roles are not productive at this point of time, but they may be productive in the time to come when the complete utilization of these technologies are happening. So I would like to say is, one is the leadership thought in the organization, second is drive in a structure which is working as a change agent, and third is allow experimentation, right? So do some experimentation, don't burn out some dollars, which is okay, but you learn something from it. And then create those kind of job rotations. So existing people, give them some new kind of roles which are helping them excelling into AI, because organizations also have to learn what AI can bring in for the organization. And the same side, employees also have to learn what AI will create opportunities or what kind of challenges it will create. So in my opinion, at a period of time, think of again, which is connected with the intent only, that create some job rotations after this gets established, and then do some promotions of people, those who are ready to take these kind of new challenges, right? So promote these kind of people, I think. So all put together, this has more to do with organizational intent and structure, rather than looking at or waiting for the time to come and then time telling you what you need to do. So this is my opinion about it.
Thank you, Manoj. I think that was quite insightful. And I would definitely agree with the statement in the beginning you made. You know, the technology, nobody can stop. They have come in the past. New technology will keep coming. Today it's happening. Tomorrow it will happen. It is going to be there all the time. And it was there all the time earlier. Maybe the changes are happening much more rapidly now than what they used to happen. So therefore, also experience so far has been, I think the new technology has created actually more jobs. And we hope, that should continue. On the other hand, as you rightly mentioned, organization, what is important in this context today is how do we foresee, the changes that are required on the part of the organizations and on the part of the individual employees to be able to be ready to handle this situation. I think that's the key. And
Right.
I don't think anybody has to be overtly worried. But I think it's required that today's generation has to be nimble footed in terms of being able to do, different activities and quickly so. That's where Manoj, you hinted that job rotation, doing different kind of jobs, and also learning and self-learning will become very important. When we started, we didn't have to really worry about, rapid learning. We thought we have all learned and came into the industry. But I think in today's generation, they have to be nimble and be ready to do multiple jobs, adopt quickly. Those are the things which come with the new age technology. So thank you very much for both of you. I think interesting discussions, and I'm sure the audience is getting some food for thought. And for the next set of discussions, questions and discussions, I'll hand it over back to Dr. Bijayashree. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you so much, sir. And it was quite interesting to hear both of you. And actually, it has all set the tone for the second part of this event. So, where we will be focusing on something like already Mr. Manoj has focused on the changing in the roles, like new roles will can be adapted adapted in the companies. So I would like to I would like to understand that in today's rapidly evolving agribusiness landscape, there is a demand for creative thinking and leadership skills, which is more crucial than ever, which is, I feel. As technological advancements, such as you have already mentioned that AI has come, big data is already reshaping the industry, the ability to innovate and adapt also becoming a key differentiator for the success, right? So in this case, agribusiness are no longer just about managing resources and production. Rather, they are more about driving innovation to meet the changing demands of consumers, sustainability standards, and also the market conditions. So with the growing importance of this creative thinking and leadership skills, how can agribusiness foster culture that encourages these capabilities, ensuring that productivity remains aligned with the innovative and adaptive needs of the industry? Ms. Poonam, we look forward to your insights on this matter. Yeah.
Thank you. And quite an interesting discussion. I think while we mentioned on AI, and I think a lot of learning before I move to this, I think as Mr. Ram said, there is no, I would just say there is no age to learning there. I mean, we on the job now, we are on certain roles, but I make sure that I dedicate in a week 4 to 5 hours on the learning. It might be some interesting topic, it might be some leadership lesson. So I think it's, as you rightly mentioned, that today's generation needs to be nimble on that, and they need to be quite updated on what they are doing, might be engaged in multiple forums, such forums, discussions, and get the learnings out of it. And as you rightly said, next 10 years, 20 years belong to India. So, I mean, the generation is of like everybody watches Shark Tank, and when somebody discuss on agribusiness, I say I see a lot of opportunities, a lot of business ideas related to AI, a space where there are certain areas which nobody has touched so far. I mean, a lot we can do. So I think we need this sort of mindset, people who can really take those. Risk and really invest in this sector after understanding the real customer need and how the technology, which may be AI or different technology of forecasting, disease forecasting, etc., would really work, and a great business idea can come out of it. So yeah, so I'll just move to the question which Dr. Bijashri has shared. I think in this rapidly changing world, and a lot can happen in agribusiness, how an organization can really encourage the creative thinking, or the leadership skill which you are talking about is I think encourage experimentation. As I will take example of whatever I adapt, which is just not the theory, and also practical things. Promote a growth mindset. I handle a team of 13 product managers, right? And I say they handle a bigger, larger portfolio of a commercial business. What I tell them that, guys, think about innovation, encourage the experimentation. We all are in the business, and we have to really see that we protect risk. There should not be a bigger risk to the business, but spend 20% of your time in experimenting something extremely good. If we, and without any fear of failure. If you fail, there is no problem. At least you learned something, right? And there's something good which organization is doing. So how do we promote as leaders that culture, that experimentation, probably the which encourages the owner's mindset, which is, maybe there are a lot of things happening in agriculture related to drone, related to disease forecasting, related to certain models. There are new people coming in, a lot in retailer and distributor, that space, a lot of experimentation, or then new ways or reaching to the farmer. A lot can be done. So how do we promote that? And collaborative innovation, where cross-functional team are gathered together and really discussing on these ideas and leveraging the unique insights and creativity of each member. I think that's very critical. How do we, being in a team and in organization, promote that? So design thinking, Mr. Ram, you must be aware. I think that has been going. And how do we promote that design thinking team and that creativity where they work together and they foster that innovation? And the empowerment at all the levels. I travel to the field, and I work with the teams, and we have a farmer facing team. The ideas can come from their level as well, right? And I've seen a lot of great ideas which are sales representative of that area, because they understand the farmer and the customer need, and they come up with the great ideas. And that can, it's not always top down, but it's bottom up as well. And how do you create that environment of decision making? All that is pretty important. And recognize and reward all these creativity ideas, etc. And how do you, I would say this as a term, as leadership role modeling, right? What really you want the organization to be, how the senior leader exhibit that behavior which you want the organization to follow. So I think that is a culture which we should promote, and a lot of creativity, innovation, thinking, new ways to reach to the farmer, new technology interventions, AI, all that will come in picture, and we can encourage that in the organization. So that's what I feel. How do we create that culture? And a lot in agri has to happen.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Poonam. You started with Shark Tank and took us to all the technological advancements that is happening through these industries, from drones to farmer-facing sales representatives. So all your experiences matters a lot, and that is something which every individual or every aspirants who wants to be in the industry and looking forward to have their career inside the agribusiness industry should understand these dynamics. So we are actually shuttling between. So this event or this today's event is all we are moving from human being at the center of the organization to the technological advancement that is happening. So thank you for the technological part which you have taken for this segment. So coming to the next. The last, I'd rather say the last part of this event. My question is to Mr. Manoj to give you just a background, like what I think, like the nature of work has, you have already mentioned that nature of work has already undergone changes. Significant transformation has happened through in the recent years. So like, employees not only at the organizational level, but also employees are now placing increasing value on job flexibility. Like Ram sir has already mentioned that remotely or hybrid mode of working is already there. They are also employees are also focusing on the work-life balance and also meaningful work, like how much impact they are making through the time they are spending, through the energy they are spending in their work. So these shifts in work preferences have been accelerated by the global pandemic, basically what I understand. No, one part is global pandemic, second is technological advances, and also the changing societal norms. So pushing these employers across all the sectors, not only at the agribusiness, but also across all the sectors. So in case of agribusiness, to rethink traditional work models, I think there is a there now we have reached to a time that we need to rethink on this traditional model and to come up with new models. And in this competitive job market, attracting and retaining top talents is not just only the competitive salaries, right? So given this kind of shift and the preferences towards job flexibility, work life balance, and meaningful work, how can agribusinesses redesign roles and work environments to attract and retain top talents in a highly competitive market? Mr. Manoj, with your extensive experience, your perspective would be more valuable to this point, this matter, which we are seeking discussion for.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Vijayashri. And the topic, this point itself is very interesting. This is first being job security. And despite the concerns on job security, there is a demand for work-life balance, flexibility, and ability to grow or ability to do something meaningful, right? Yes, obviously, this is one thing. What I will say is, I think that there is the demand, there is a need, as well as there is an. It has to be seen from an organizational intent. Again, from the organizational intent. As you said, the pandemic created opportunities. Pandemic made us learn a lot of new things. But what happened? The pandemic got over, and then we started moving back to the traditional models, right? So that has been the concerns. The further advancement post pandemic did not happen in that, right? And based on my experience, I can say, so I could see I worked in an organization which promoted flexibility. Later on, I went to a new organization which did not want to promote flexibility because they had doubts whether people are working, being flexible by providing, or are they misusing, right? So again, there was a difference, but both the organizations was able to create. Another thing which I saw is that the new work environment, it required certain privacy. Now, organizations did not have multiple cabins for people to do digital connect. You know, so the digital connect being popular, but organizations are not able to provide, and which they can always provide it while people are able to work from home, right? So you have your own privacy at home, and then it does not disturb another person's privacy. So all put together, I see again some contrasting things, but on the same time opportunities. I could visualize certain new roles where which can get emerged in the time to come, right? As we exploit this digital connect. In my opinion, the digital spokesperson. So today, in the traditional model, we need to go into the farmers and then do travel a lot and then do the physical farmer meeting. There was some experimentation, but I am very sure if organizations keep promoting it, the day will be that you will be doing the digital promotions, digital field days, digital meetings. In fact, the digital dealer meetings also, do not require to travel, and then you can provide those kind of flexibility to people, right? Digital analyst roles are already there, but I think digital insights creators are some of the new opportunities which organizations can create. So a lot of data scientists are there, but they fail to bring insights. So probably these are some new opportunities. If organizations stay connected to this, I think they can. And all put together, I'm sure in the time to come, these kind of opportunities are going to be created by multiple organizations, and this will satisfy the requirement of both, not only the job security but also offer flexibility and work life balance to people. So this is how I would like to represent on this, my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Manoj. I'm sure the participants here must have been also got uh, they are enlightened by the opportunities they can foresee in agribusiness sector. So this is like even if it is a digitally changing world, but there has been lots of digitally available jobs in the agribusiness sector. So people can think around skilling themselves to fit into the ecosystem. And I'm very proud to say that Agzistence itself is a digitally driven ecosystem, which help in skilling the workforce in the agri and food value chain ecosystem. So thank you so much for all your time, and the
Dr.
floor is
Bijashri,
now. Yeah,
I'm
please go
sorry.
ahead.
I
Yeah,
would like to take. I'm not able to hold myself, so I
yeah,
just
please
want
go
to
ahead.
add for a minute. I would urge if there are youngsters who are really seeking opportunities in this industry, don't get overpowered or overbugged with the word as work-life balance, because I think sometime it's also a over used abused word as well. And my personal, and everybody can have their own opinion about it, but my personal view is, just doing 9 to 5 and having all time is it's just a written, I would say, principle. So what I would say is work life balance, when the role, or while I spoke about employee engagement and the owner's mindset, if it is not giving you enough work and enthusiasm and engagement, probably you are into wrong job. But to me, if I take my example, I would say it gives me enough kick to really go work. And then you take your time whenever you need off. You can take 2 3 days, you can go out, you can come the time you want. And there are organizations which are promoting this culture. You need to be productive. So don't get into that trap of 9 to 5 and pure work life balance, because these are a very bookish terminology. Is the world is changing, they need you to be productive, and you need to be really motivated in what you are doing, and you should have ability to contribute, and that gives you a kick. So that's something
Yeah,
which I really wanted to add.
yeah. It's always
Good point.
encouraging to listen you, Poonam. I would also like to mention, Ram sir always give us an example of mood elevator. Sir, would you like to speak more on that? Yeah.
So, again, we are all now excited with the discussion. A very important point, what comments Poonam made at the end here, extremely important. I think it's overplayed word. Yes, the world is getting readjusted to it, but the focus wherever you work from at the end of the day, as per some level of convenience for you, but you have to be productive. You have to give the best contribution. You have to be innovative. You have to be effective in your work because you're working for some organization, and also you're working for yourself, for your own career. You have different careers as I see when people get into jobs. One is your professional career. Second is your family career. All these get launched at the same time, right? More or less. And the third career one should clearly keep alive is your me time interest management. It's also very important in today's world when we are going towards nuclear families, small families. It's very important. I keep all youngsters whom I mentor and all right from 10th, 12th class children to the MBA and graduate. It's important to keep your interests, hobbies also alive. It doesn't mean that you can compromise on the job effectiveness. That's your roji roti, right? And your me time management is very important because you should keep alive your interest. I used to encourage my business. I am graduate, but she joined us, and I told her first thing is you never give up on your birding activity. She's a very avid bird watcher and travels a lot. I'll support you. I told her that. So another important point which Manoj was mentioning was the technology is going to enable us so much to do our jobs better, especially in the area of communication. Today information can be reached to the customer in seconds. It used to be weeks, maybe months earlier. And one example which recently, I was there to see and share was, today we do thousands of demonstrations of a product. In tomorrow's world or today's world, actually, why tomorrow? You don't have to do 1,000. It's 10 demos done across agroclimatic zones and digitally delivered real time to millions of farmers. It's possible today. And real time means that, real time you do each stage of the crop as it grows can be shared. So it's so empowering. Anyway, it's a long comments from my. Thank you very much. So it's very exciting and very good to hear. Back to you, Bijashri.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, and thank you, everyone.